Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video today and it's titled Why Swiss Money Looks Weird. So I've had the idea that you guys, the money is called francs, which is pretty cool because, you know, we say Benjamins, Franklin, a lot. To be honest, American money has a lot of different names, if I'm just being absolutely honest with you. You might go to a lot of different areas and they're called a lot of different things because there's so many different variations. But you guys, Frank, what's up? Let me hold one of them Franks. It's pretty cool, pretty simple. I love it just like that. Either ways, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you have any recommendations, leave those in the comment section down below, or preferably click that link in the pinned comment section. You can recommend videos about Switzerland, music related, doesn't matter as long as it's about Switzerland. Anything about Europe, you can leave it in the comment section down below. And yeah, without further ado, man, let's get right to this video.
Swiss money doesn't obey the rules. First of all, it's f***ing vertical. Most currencies like the dollar, euro and yen opt for a landscape design, but Switzerland is the exception. From the humble 10-franc bill to the elusive 1,000-franc note, Swiss cash towers over its contemporaries. In classical Swiss fashion, each bill is also overloaded with security features, making the Swiss franc one of the most difficult currencies in the world to counterfeit. The design of the bills themselves is perhaps the most intriguing though. Unlike most other nations who choose to display portraits of influential politicians, monarchs, or founding figures, the Swiss franc depicts hands? Why does Swiss money look so weird?
I mean, it doesn't look weird to me, it looks beautiful.
The question of why they opted for verticality is a deceptively simple one to answer. It makes them easier to count and differentiate. Banknotes around the world typically grow proportionally larger at high denominations, making it difficult to assess at a glance how much money you're holding. Swiss cash, however, expands only vertically. It does so because, according to the New York Times' John Tagliabue, most people exchange money while standing, and it is intuitively easier to hold and read a bill vertically while doing so. Solely restricting the growth of the note.
If I'm being absolutely honest with you, if I have about $100 right now in a $5 bill or 20s or whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. But if I had a stack of cash, I'm not going to hold it horizontally, actually. I'm not. Like, let's say my phone was a stack of cash. I'd have it like this, or it would be folded, something of the sort like that, but it wouldn't be like this. Like, logically speaking, like literally. I've never actually paid much attention to that before until I found out that Swiss is actually vertical. But you don't hold cash horizontally. It's not possible because it's too wide. Like imagine using your phone like this to do to text or to write something. Like the width is okay if you're gonna watch something, but height, the length. Height, I should say, is way more important in my humble opinion. So this is actually pretty smart.
Notes to height provides a visually clearer spread of money, particularly when fanned out, and it also makes it easier for visually impaired people, as their shapes are more distinctive and thus easier to sort through. Additionally, the consistent width of each bill means that Swiss cash fits snugly into any wallet, without certain larger denomination notes sticking out at the top. It is, of course, also just cool. No doubt a consideration in the design process was the unique silhouette and its ability to stand out on a global stage and push a narrative of Swiss exceptionalism, a concept we'll return to later in the video. When Switzerland first introduced its vertical currency in 1995, it became the first paper money ever to be designed on a computer, and its security features were seen as so advanced and numerous that according to the New York Times, it became a parlor game to try and spot the more than 20 anti-counterfeit measures integrated into the design. Undoubtedly, Switzerland's newly acquired position as one of the world's leading financial centers incentivized the Swiss National Bank to depict the nation on the cutting edge of monetary security. The franc provided an ideal, highly circulated canvas upon which to prove this. Optics aside, there were good reasons to future-proof the Swiss franc, as it was at the time, and still is, regarded as a, quote, safe haven currency. The political and economic stability of Switzerland helped fend off currency volatility, and as a result, many foreign investors who sought to safeguard their wealth against inflation would often purchase large quantities of Swiss francs. Many would avoid storing their money in banks and instead opted to withdraw it and retain large quantities of physical bills. The 1,000 franc banknotes were, as a result, highly sought after, space efficient and highly...
Yeah, because I always had the idea that once you have larger notes, your cash is like, not the strongest, right? But if I'm not sure, the Swiss franc is like 1 to 1.2 towards the US. Let me check. 1 USD to Swiss. Let me see. Swiss franc. Yeah, 0.91. It's almost the same damn thing. That is crazy, right? So it is quite amazing. 100 US dollars is 91 CHF, right? So it's borderline the same thing, which is really cool. And you got $1,000 bill in it, bro. Like, what? That is pretty insane.
Valuable, one would not have to purchase a particularly large safe to squirrel away a veritable fortune.
Exactly.
In that vein, in 1996, a staggering 77% of Switzerland's printed currency was actually held abroad by foreigners as a store of value. However, it isn't just foreigners that covet Swiss cash. In Switzerland, banknotes were the most popular form of payment up until 2022, when the debit card finally dethroned them. Culturally,
how the hell is that possible? How is that possible? Wow, that is impressive. And I could only imagine that it's probably because of COVID. Why? Wait, COVID wasn't 22. It wasn't 22. Okay, well, I'm wrong. I don't know how the debit card got him, but if you lasted that long, that's quite impressive because, I don't even use cash on a day-to-day basis. I don't use it at all. Apple Pay is what I use. So it's quite shocking to me that, you guys lasted so long with the cash.
The Swiss prefer a great degree of control over their finances and are suspicious of credit. As a result, many tend towards paper money, no doubt due to the historical prominence of Protestantism in the country and the associated values of thrift and financial diligence. Thus, the popularity of bills abroad and within Swiss society further increased the importance of their security and, in addition, their status as symbols of Switzerland. As far back as the early 20th century, Switzerland had been utilizing its currency, like many countries, as a vehicle to extol national values and propagate certain mythologies about the nation-state. In this 1938 500 franc bill, we can see a chemist in his laboratory exploring the frontiers of a nascent scientific field and
So they did have it horizontally at one point.
Laboratory exploring the frontiers of a nascent scientific field, and on this 1976 version of the 100 franc note is depicted the Ticino-born architect Francesco Borromini, with his design of the Baroque Santivo Church in Rome. Finally, in this 1948 1,000 franc note, the veiled spectre of death looms in the background of life, a lifeless child slumped over his bony forearm. The latter design, morbid as it is, was meant to communicate that death is as much part of life as birth, an inevitability that must be accepted.
Wow,
This
that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I know it's dark, but it's beautiful because a lot of people don't actually accept this part of life. To live is to die, and you cannot live without dying. So, trying to escape that is kind of pointless. The only thing you can do is try to be alive as long as possible by staying healthy, taking care of yourself, avoiding conflicts and, being in positive environments, right? That's it. But you cannot avoid death because you might not die in a car accident, gang violence, unfortunate circumstances, accidents and stuff like that. But you can just be there and your internals just, you know what I mean? Or something else. I don't know.
artistic spread was named the Danse Macabre. These early iterations of the Swiss franc reflect traditions within the Swiss socio-political consciousness, the veneration of the sciences, of the arts, and in the case of the depiction of death's immutable influence on life, of philosophy. It is no wonder then that the modern versions of the Swiss franc share similar themes. The 1995 batch depicted influential Swiss figures such as the architect Le Corbusier, whose unique blend of intelligence and insanity led him to develop architectural monstrosities like the theoretical Plan Voisin, a scheme that would see 18 cross-shaped concrete apartment towers erected in the center of Paris. The sculptor Alberto Giacometti, a famed contributor to the sphere of surrealism and someone who sought to dissect the essence of humanity through his works, also featured prominently. The gaunt, skeletal frames of his metallic sculptures striding across the rear of the 100 franc bill. The most recent designs, released from 2016 onwards, forego portraits entirely and instead focus on the theme cosmopolitan Switzerland expressed through hands. They are...
If I'm being absolutely honest with you, I wish I had money to waste, if that makes any sense, because I would actually want each of these built, and this would cost me 1,300 and 10 and 20 is what again? 30. So 380. So 1,380 is what this would cost me, right? So yeah, if I had the money to waste, I'd actually get these. These are very artistic and they're just beautiful. It's that simple. They're not even money in my eyes. They're art. Like, if I actually had the money, I would, like those little things that you can put something in it and you close it and it's like a frame. That's what I would do with these. I would actually do that and put them there. Have the real thing. That would be art piece to me. An art piece, like, that would be amazing. And I would actually probably put it as a background decoration. That would be so cool. Oh my gosh. Being rich is cool. I would never hate on being rich. It's actually pretty cool because you can get some weird shit done.
far more conceptual than their predecessors. Each bill depicts, in order from lowest to highest denomination, organization, creativity, wealth of experiences, humanitarianism, scientific expertise, and finally, communication.
Okay.
These are idealized.
By the way, I should say that's my favorite emoji. The last one. Communication, it's actually my favorite emoji at the moment. The handshake, it's my favorite. And it's also the yellow one because I see a lot of people actually change the color of their emojis, but I thought to myself, why put the colors of the emoji? It kind of doesn't unify anything. It kind of creates division. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to change the color. Let's do it as the same base yellow just for the sake of unity.
And finally, communication. These are idealized encapsulations of Switzerland, the way the Alpine state wants to portray itself to the world. I do, however, think that it goes a little deeper than that, beyond a simple manifestation of cultural projection. It is my interpretation that these bills and the emission of portraits are a means through which to reinforce a tangible national character, and that they are tokens of patriotism. Nationalism, if you'd like to approach it cynically. Switzerland, as the anthropologist Regina Bendix puts it, lacks any sort of heroes or martyrs to lift on pedestals as national icons, or in this case, print on the face of its bills. Even William Tell, Switzerland's most recognizable hero of folklore, embodying Swiss liberty, is tellingly relegated to one 25-franc coin minted in 1955. Switzerland lacks a foundational conflict to motivate a strong sense of nationalism. The United States had the American Revolutionary War, France had the French Revolution, and the United Kingdom more recently had its resilience in the face of adversity during World War II. These events and conflicts and the key figures surrounding them are often depicted on currency in their respective countries because they are identifiable symbols of unity. Most countries on the African continent can draw some of their unity from a collective struggle against colonial rule and discrimination. It is why South Africa's rand immortalizes Nelson Mandela, why the Algerian dinar commemorates leaders of the Algerian independence movement.
I do understand this very well. It's a very good point, I think.
What Switzerland does have, however, is an underlying mythos of exceptionalism. Unlike most nations in Europe and indeed the world, Switzerland was not formed by the swing of a sword, but by the stroke of a pen. Its earliest iteration in 1291 was formed diplomatically in order to fend off larger and more powerful neighbours. Even the 1847 Civil War, which led to the establishment of the Swiss federal state, was less a cataclysmic paradigm shift and more a speed bump. A mercifully brief bloodletting that proved the exception to Swiss history. The cantons of Switzerland were for the majority of history not economic heavyweights. They were on the fringes of European commerce, with the Alps obstructing many trade routes. They lacked raw resources and were completely landlocked. This in addition to being political outsiders, preferring republicanism over monarchism. In these conditions, the Swiss state had to work hard to differentiate itself to survive, developing a tradition of neutrality, establishing specialized handicraft industries, a unique democratic system, and shining in the field of science, art, and philosophy. It is this mythos upon which the modern Swiss franc draws its iconography. In place of a monarch, a president, or a revolutionary leader, of which Switzerland has no truly influential substitute, are depicted these encapsulations of Swiss exceptionalism, of unique ideals that supposedly helped propel average old Switzerland to prosperity. Switzerland is also a state of diverse cultures and languages, and as a result, no single individual or event can fully embody the nation on a banknote. Thus, the currency turns to the idea of Switzerland with all of its exaggerations and embellishments, and indeed the typically uncritical myopia of narratives of nationhood. I think this is also why the euro, for example, lacks portraits on its bills, because for a geopolitical entity as diverse linguistically and culturally as the European Union,
yeah, it's going to be hard to represent everybody.
Any one person cannot possibly be representative of the whole bloc. It is better to invoke an idealized, aspirational version of the state when attempting to represent it on currency. Switzerland has taken that line of thinking and run with it. Swiss money is adorned with scientific imagery, beautiful vistas dotted with mountain ranges, abstractions of artistic endeavor, and allusions to neutrality. Previous designs of the Swiss franc did include people, but I think they too were meant to represent Switzerland's ideals rather than themselves act as national figures.
Right.
They were conduits to exemplify Swiss exceptionalism, all of them creatives and scientists, not generals, political leaders, or revolutionaries, just regular individuals with exceptional skills. Which, if you think about it, is about as close to a human manifestation of the mythos of Switzerland as you can get. Benedict Anderson notes in his book Imagined Communities that Switzerland's status as a multi-ethnic state guided it in remaining neutral with its neighbours, whose linguistic offshoots resided there: Italians in Ticino, French in Geneva, Germans in Schwyz. However, this atomization of the nation, also seen in a lack of a common religion and its relative economic backwardness, meant that a coherent Swiss nationalism did not appear until around 1891. By this point, many other nations had codified national characters through linguistic or ethnic homogeneity. Switzerland had not. But since it was a latecomer, it was instead able to construct a modern nationalism, a vision of the nation not based off of heroes or martyrs associated with the dominant ethnic class or shared past glories, but of ideals that bridge linguistic and ethnic chasms. Organization, creativity, wealth of experiences, humanitarianism, scientific expertise, and communication. In the words of Anderson, modernity rather than antiquity characterizes Swiss nationalism. The original designer of the vertical Swiss franc, Jörg Zinsmeier, said the banknote is a medium by which the identity of a nation comes to the fore. Staying true to this sentiment, the Swiss franc in its design tries to codify this imagined, idealized community in which Switzerland and its people are exceptional. The mythos argues they succeeded in spite of the historical hand that they were dealt, because of their pursuit of progress and innovation over all else. Motifs we have seen repeated in different eras of Swiss currency. Swiss money looks weird because it's more than just a means of payment. It is also a means of constructing the idea of the Swiss nation.
Everybody, move your body.
That's it? Oh shit. They're pretty good, man. They're pretty good. The cash looks absolutely amazing. Like I said earlier on in the video, I actually get it and put it in a poster, like a poster format for like art. I would actually do it and, you know, keep it behind me or something like that. It's pretty cool, you know, and just keep it as savings, you know, because obviously it's real money. I wouldn't do it with fake money because, like, I don't really like doing the fake stuff, you know. They say fake it till you make it, but why not just be patient until you make it? You know what I mean? But I think it's beautiful. I think it's probably, if not the best, at least number 2. I think Australian cash looks amazing as well. So if not number 2, it's definitely number 1. If not number 1, it's definitely number 2. It's absolutely beautiful. Definitely a lot more beautiful compared to the American, you know, currency. But American currency is quite, you know, beautiful in my humble opinion. But there's not much creativity to it. It's quite basic. So there's not much to it. So I think this is absolutely beautiful. A lot to it, and I love the design and I love the thought behind it. You know what I mean? So thank you guys for watching this video, and yeah, let me know if you guys actually, you know, just stack cash as well, or do you use, you know, tap to pay, the debit card thingy? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm out of here. Peace.